that's kind of typically these projects where they're going down this path where we sometimes have to be, I don't know if it's the bad guy, but we have to be the one sometimes to put up the stop sign or maybe the yield sign to say, wait a minute, let's slow down a little bit and ask why we're doing this. So
Yeah. Yeah, I had a client recently ask me, like, what's the deal with server side? I'll do my terrible Jerry Seinfeld impression. What's the
what's the
deal
deal with
with
server
server
side?
side? No, they actually
You
asked me.
still need a client cookie. You still have a browser. Am I right, people?
That's actually better. Yeah, that was actually really good.
Thanks.
But they did. They asked me, what my thoughts were because, again, they were seeing, you know, um, their competitors potentially going down this path. They're hearing from their technology partners that they have to do it. And I like how you gave the image of, putting up the yield side. I said, my thing is I was like, use caution. I said, don't rush into it. I said, if someone's coming to you and saying that you're one of the last ones to do this, you're going to be left behind. I
Oh
said, that's a,
no.
yeah, no, I told them, I said, if you're being pressed by somebody outside the organization to do it, most likely it's a high pressure sales tactic.
Yeah.
If you were to put together a project to try to get get everything fully server side, I said you would be in such a small minority of people that have actually been able to accomplish it.
Yeah.
I said my advice to them was to evaluate it. Take time to evaluate it. And I told them it's not quite perfected. So I said, you're going to be on the cutting edge. It's not quite perfected, and you might go through a lot of pain to get some of like the server side marketing technology up. So I was like, evaluate it. Don't just jump in and say, let's do it.
Yeah, it's we shouldn't be treating it as such transactional moments where it's like, oh, we're evaluating this one commodity versus no, like these decisions have lasting impacts, and we've seen with some companies that last decades. These are not just isolated these are big decisions. And if anyone is pushing you to make a rush decision of, sale ends now, there's a vendor that I'm not going to call out by name that did this via an email campaign that literally had the clock in the email that said, you have 7 hours left to do this. If you don't do it, I'm like, whoa, like these are huge decisions. You're really going to put up the countdown timer on these companies? Like, this is awful, awful. And so
But
if
they wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
it works, but it's horrible. It creates horrible outcomes. Like, yeah, I mean, it works, I guess, in the short term, but the long term, it's left to be seen what damage they've done, and if they're able to, recover from that, because it's awful. Like, these are big decisions, and we not that we should sit around and get an analysis paralysis, but these aren't decisions that we should be forced to make at like 8 o'clock before the store closes at 8:30. Like, no way. So if we're finding ourselves in those situations, it's better to walk away. It's better to walk away and pay more, right? I think I shared the story of when I went to buy a piano, where
Yep.
they gave me that line. It's like, well, the store closes in like 30 minutes and then the sale's over. I'm like, I'm going to walk across the street to your competitor and pay a few $1,000s more for this piano out of spite, because I am not going to, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not going to be rushed into a major decision for an amazing instrument that's going to sit in my house for 40 years.